Good morning, guys. This is day 2 of my trading journey, and I have just woken up, and it is a good day. Look at it outside, it's nice and bright, beautiful weather. And I just looked at my phone. I've got some good news for you guys, so let me show you. Okay, so have a look at this, guys. So last night we went to bed around here. So we're expecting it to go all the way down here. This was the point where I took my profits. And then look at that. It went exactly there and it went down a little bit more. I would have gotten a little bit more profits, but I'm pretty happy with that. So if I show you on this screen, last night with that ETH trade, we managed to lock in 70 bucks. So we're gonna actually log that in right now together. Okay, so that will be, I'll put that as a Thursday trade. ETH short. Bam. Bam. Confidence. I was pretty confident in that one. Put a 4. It was a win. And that was a level 2. No, that was a level 1. Total fees, we've got 0.87 plus 0.33. So I'll put 1.2. Here now was 70.8. Perfect. Duration was long as I think I got in around here, so 8:06 to when's this, so that was like 12 hours. Okay, and then day was Thursday. Comments, great. All right, that was nothing I could really pick apart from that trade. I loved it. And then we're going to take a screenshot. Boom. Chuck that in there. Alright, we have logged our ETH trade and we're going to keep going to see if we can find any trade setups for today. So back to the calendar and we're going to go have a look. Alright, we're going to do our pre-session. And pre-session. Check first always for the news and important events. So we're gonna go into TradingView, look at the economic calendar, and Friday we've got quite a few important news, but that's all around like 5. So right now it is 11, so I have got like around 6 hours to trade. So check that. Look at our daily bias. So daily bias is looking bearish. I'm also going to check it with my Bitcoin chart. Now with the Bitcoin chart, I always like to pull it out to like 4 hours and let's see what we got. So for the short term, it looks like it's going to be shorting. Everything's really looking at this. If this does decide to break out here, pop out, come back, it might look to go for a long, but for now, I'm going to trust and see that everything's going to the downside, as it can come up to this line and continue to reject. That's because every part of these lower lows has been happening. There's been a little bit of a lower high, so I just want to see how this goes and plays out. Okay, so looking bearish. Let's see if we can find some good ETH or SOL trades. Longer time frame, still looking bearish. Look at that. It's going down, lower lows, lower highs. Now with the ETH chart, there is something that I quite like. Okay. See how this New York session played out? This was the low and this was the high, and then it broke right through and it bounced right up. So I'm looking at a possible going down again. So if I just pull up my fib retracement, pull and then up there. Okay, so ideally I want low to touch that 2.618. So I'm going to adjust it to see if anything matches the fib nicely. Any kind of low points here to get that 2.18. Right now it doesn't seem like it is, so we're gonna keep an eye on this trade for now. What we could do, take this fib like this and then have a look. Ideally we would have been in this position 1, 2 already and just waited for that to play out for full profits, but let's keep going. Okay, next we've got the SOL trade. Same thing, broke out of that low here. Honestly, I want to have a look at how the fib retracement plays out here. I have a feeling this will be a good one. So 2.618 there. Okay, so this soul trade is something I'm actually quite liking. So you see how that 2.618 ran down past that and immediately shot back up. So this means that this is a pretty good low point that matches with the fib. So I'll draw a line like this, and then this might be a trade I take in. So let's go back into our pre-session. So we checked our bias, set up our tools, which is our charts, check smart alerts for activity ideas, smart alerts. They were saying a soul long at 9, but I don't know. I don't really feel like this is going to be a good long opportunity because the daily bias is bearish. We want to go down. So we're going to do that. Following my rules. So New York session high and low, that's been done. Check smart alerts. Determine price action. And we want choppy price action. Okay. This isn't really fitting that choppy price action because that was a big red candle. But I do like the chop here, so I might wait it out for Sol unless I can't find any other good trades. AVAX on the other hand also looks pretty nice. Let's have a look using that fib retracement. Okay, not ideal. See how the bottom isn't really matching up with where I'd like. So I'm not going to go for it. I think I still like the Sol trade the most. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to input this trade in. I've put it in the calculator and we'll see if I manage to get this buy. Just then I got a beautiful trade off my ETH. I don't actually record it, but I'm going to show you the results. On the screen here, you can see I got in around here. I really wanted to get in with a little bit more. I think I got around here. I just wanted to get that second touch point, but it didn't happen. But nonetheless, I'll show you on the P&L section here. I managed to get a pretty sweet $26, almost $27 trade of profits because I got the buy here, held it all the way down here for that layer 112. Now, if this had just come up a little bit more, touched my buy point and gone all the way down, I would have locked in probably around $70 to $80 of profit, but it is what it is, okay? But now I've kind of waited for the markets to die down because I don't like trading immediately after this big candlestick. That means the prices are pretty volatile. It can jump up and down pretty quickly. It's kind of died off now, and the next trade setup that I'm looking at is this APT. And no, it's not the song. Apatsu is the coin APT. And you can see, this is my setup where I've got my first buy, second buy, third buy level, take profit, and my stop loss, right? I'm very close to getting my profits hit, but unfortunately it didn't really happen. It's just a little tick above. Now, why I'm pretty confident with this setup is because my second buy zone is reacting to here, the previous lows here, which becomes a pretty significant support zone. And the same thing that happens to here, where this buy zone and resistance level with these lows and this high here becomes really strong. And before it actually goes to my stop loss, this is probably a very strong high, so I'm pretty confident having my stop loss up here. Now it's just a matter of if I'm able to get this buy in before this leg moves all the way down, or it just moves without that. But nonetheless, that's my setup. So I'm just going to go with APT and hopefully I get the buy and we'll see how we go. All right, I'll be working on a little bit of editing and for the day as we wait for this trade to go on. Let's peek. Alright guys, so today's lunch is a bit of pan-fried dumpling, broccoli, a bit of drinks, and some lettuce. Let's dig in. So now it's pretty exciting. I'm finally in my trades. Quick update on what's happening. So this morning I kind of had a bit of a talk about the prediction of Bitcoin is going to determine where we go. So as you can see, this top part, it did not break through and go up, but it did kind of drop down below this break of structure, so this low here, and it just kind of went down. So it went like that. Okay, so it's still a very bearish sentiment, and that's what we're going to trade, and that's exactly what we did. Now I did talk about how we wanted to trade APT, but unfortunately in the afternoon it kind of looked like this and it ran away without us. Right, it barely, not even, just almost touched my buy zone, but we didn't get the buy. So I didn't chase it, and instead I found a different pair to trade on. So these are the two pairs that I'm in currently. One is ETH and one is SOL. My ETH right now I'm in and I'm up around $4 one, and the other SOL I just literally got in. And let me break down my logic between why I did this. Right, so taking from the previous high just before it dropped, I wanted to wait a bit. So taking from the previous high just before it dropped, I wanted to wait a bit. So I did not like this big movement. Okay, these big vertical movements, it was very easy to have like a quick bounce up, which could liquidate me really quickly. So we avoided that, but instead we made this chart using our fib and our fib retracements. Everything matched up really well, but these are the main supports that I was looking at. For SOL, we can see that my first dip buy level here, or actually I should say my first entry zone here, was just in the zone of the previous highs. Right, in the next part of the buy zone, we had this really strong support from this upper zone here. And lastly, my last dip buy matched perfectly with this low point here. So I was pretty confident that this would be a really great trade along with the resistance and support levels. Now the same thing goes for ETH. You can see that for ETH I did take a little bit more of an aggressive approach, where my stop loss was lower down here instead of all the way up here, just because I saw that ETH had probably a little bit more bearish sentiment. See how, look at this, there's currently a downward accumulating phase where there's lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, got a lower low, and I've got a kind of the same low here. So now I'm kind of waiting for it to play out. It could very simply, if it plays based on this trend line, just keep dropping and then drop all the way down to my take profits, or it could kind of break up and go to my layer 1 buys and then maybe even the layer 2s. But I'm not too worried even if it gets to the layer 2s, just because my stop loss is right here, and again this is the golden zone of where that previous low is. So I'm pretty confident there's a strong resistance there. If I do stop out, that means I'm wrong. But that's my analysis on the markets right now. My trades are in. My goal is, if it gets to this first dip buy, I'm again going to take it all the way down to this previous low. If it goes to the second dip buy, I'm going to buy right here. Okay, that's going to be the same for both ETH and SOL. So I've got my trades all set up. I'm going to head to church. We've got a Bible study tonight, so got to prepare for that. And I'll see you guys tonight when I come back. Peace. Ready to go out. Gotta be cool, be kind. All right. Arrived at our church, and it's a beautiful night with some stars. You probably can't see it, but getting ready for worship and some Bible study tonight.
in the next week, we will continue to keep these words in our mind and heart in Jesus' name.
It's been a very disappointing day today, guys. Not gonna lie, I was pretty confident in my trade, but sometimes things just don't play out that way. So let me give you a breakdown of what went on for the trade that I had in this afternoon. So originally I had my stop loss here, basically got stopped, but that's not it. Okay, because I came back and I saw that, okay, this stop loss probably wasn't the best thing. The reason why I thought that was because we're going to ignore this back part for now. So we're going to go back in time, let's say for like an hour when I got home. So around 10:40, almost 11, I got back and I thought to myself, crap. Because of daylight savings, the New York session actually changed times. Normally it opens up around like 12:30 where I am. But because of recent changes, it started at 11 p.m. at night in Australia. And so normally with the strategy, you don't want to trade during New York session opening just because there's so much volatility. So I saw this and I'm like, okay, before I had a really good idea that this was going to be my second buy zone. But then I thought, wait, this is probably an even better support. And when I pulled out my Fibonacci to that previous high, it matched up completely with this support. So I thought to myself, okay, it's probably going to keep going up and it'll stop around this stop just before the line here, the support zone that we drew here. And I'm going to play out for you guys to show you guys, what really happened. So it went up, and it basically just stopped me out. Okay. Once it stopped me out, I had another plan. There's strong support here, so let's see if we can get a nice short trade, because this seems like there's going to be strong support bouncing off this line. So I waited and I wanted to catch that momentum down, suck up the orders, get the entry in, and then just keep going down. So I'll draw this. So breaking through this line, coming up, so this is where you see my entry, and then I wanted to go down, but you see this big green candle of volatility that just shot up straight away, sucked up my order, took me to my stop loss, and I was out. So thankfully I only put around $25 risk in there. So to summarize for you guys right now, for today's trade, in the morning I made a nice $70 overnight and another $26, but at night I lost a trade of 143 and minus 26. Okay, not the best trades, and obviously I expect this as a beginner to be losing money, but it's just a bit disappointing. Now going back to my ETH trade, I just heard a bit of a signal, so let's hear how it goes. Alright, so ETH, it's actually doing pretty good. So it hasn't had too much crazy movement, but it's kind of hovered around since we kind of last talked and gone up to my second buy zone here. Alright, so here I am expecting it. If it goes down, I'm taking profits here. If it gets to that layer 2, let's hear how it goes. Alright, so ETH, it's actually doing pretty good. So it hasn't had too much crazy movement, but it's kind of hovered around since we kind of last talked and gone up to my second buy zone here. Alright, so here I am expecting it. If it goes down, I'm taking profits here. If it gets to that layer 2, I'm going to be taking that profit right here. And right now it's looking really bullish in terms of the whole market to see how this Bitcoin's going to play out. ETH usually follows Bitcoin quite closely, so I'm just going to leave this trade overnight to see if I get that full profit buy or I'm going to get stopped. Okay, that's basically a wrap for today. I'm going to come back tomorrow for day 3 of this live trading vlog as a beginner. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.